So yeah, this is my video on Christ consciousness at the individual level. I do not subscribe to any philosophy where, you know, there's any reincarnation of God or Christ or anything like that coming to earth. I believe I'm at the level of thought that the Christ consciousness is an energy. You can also believe in the Christ consciousness on a physical level as well. The main crux to, you know, both these philosophies is that, you know, we have to remember that we are the sheep and the Most High, the Creator, is the shepherd. So I believe that, you know, the Most High sent us great teachers like Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, you know, Noah. But at the end of it all, you know, it is the Most High, the Creator of all creators, that has created us all, and it's that power that has the reigning rule over us. So although we can tap into that power on the individual level, we are not that power. We did not create that world, and as long as I've been alive, I've never seen anyone be able to create and reproduce the marvels in nature that the great architect of this universe has produced, you know. And this is why I know that there is a Most High that is guiding us all, because of all the beautiful things that still happen on this planet, despite, you know, the numerous conflicts we see reported day in, day out between, you know, humanity or in conflict with each other, although we all come from the same place. So Christ consciousness is just tapping into that element of oneness, and not in an airy-fairy level, on the practical level. To sum it up, Christ consciousness is practicing what you preach. If you say you're a Christian, you act and behave like a Christian. If you say you're a Muslim, you follow the rules of your scripture. If you say you're a Jew, you act like a Jew. And you know, it's basically about practicing what you preach on a very, 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 very basic level. That is what Christ consciousness is. Christ consciousness, in a nutshell, is using your free will to practice what you preach. Well, Christ consciousness is realizing that all we are seeking without is already within us, and walking that path. Walking the path, using your free will to walk your own path in life, rather than the deterministic path, which is saying, well, life is like just the way it is and it's always going to be the way it is, so why so bother? So to many people, we all know about Jesus Christ, we've heard the story. This video isn't to go in depth about Jesus as a person. So who was Jesus as a person? Well, Jesus was a person who used his free will to say, turn his back on the norms of his society at the time. He said he didn't agree with loads of things that was taking place, so he went against it. He preached that, you know, we are all at one with the Father, the Creator of all creators. And in this day and time, I think we've gotten away from the fact that although, you know, there is Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, and other spiritual teachers, and who have brought us great knowledge, we've forgotten that the knowledge that they gave to us or brought out of themselves to give to us actually came from the Most High. So Christ consciousness is realizing that, you know, we all come from the Most High, but not only that, that the connection to the Most High is already in us, and we don't have to go outside and seek it from anyone else. But the barrier, what's blocking everyone from their Christ consciousness, is our unhealed emotions, our emotional blockages, the stress, you know, not having enough time to relax into ourselves, feeling that ends with, you know, most of us feel lost. I mean, you know, it can be hard not to feel lost at this time. There's so many conflicting information out there. Which voice do we listen to? Well, Christ consciousness is saying, listen to the voice within. And how do you get to that voice within? Well, you have to still your mind, and it doesn't mean that you have to go into any deep meditative trance or anything like that. You just have to be brave enough to use your free will to follow your intuition, you know, to speak intention. You can go into prayer if you use prayer, and you will say to whoever you pray to, please show me the best path for me. And you walk that path regardless of what anyone in your family's doing, anyone else in the world's doing, because we must not forget that one of the main teachings of Jesus in Matthew 10:34 says, But whoever denies me before man, I will also deny him before my Father in heaven. Do not assume that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to turn a man against his father, a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. Now, what that basically means, because it's not about, going out there and having arguments, it's about following your own mind. So despite what your mom, your dad, your partner may feel, if you get the calling to reach out to Christ and follow a particular path, using your free will to access the Christ consciousness, then you have to follow that path. It's your personal choice. It's, the deterministic choice is saying, well, my mum and dad or my family or work or society says that I have to do it this way, so I'm going to do it this way. But the free will choice is saying, no, I want to give in, I want to surrender to the Christ consciousness and walk the path of the Christ consciousness. Now, all the Christ consciousness is using your personal choice to do good and to make your actions reflect, what you truly think inside. It's not about using words to, dress things up and to make things pretty. It's about doing the real work to heal any childhood wounds, any wounds from relationships, any karmatic wounds. We all know, I believe that each person knows deep down what they need to heal, but the reason why we seek so much outside stimulation, entertainment, is because we are running from ourselves. We're running from this Christ light being within us, because a lot of times we feel that we don't deserve the Christ conscious energy, or we don't deserve the love of the Father, or who are we? We're just an individual human being. We need to go and seek out a teacher or some kind of guru, or which is fine. You can always seek out people to give you guidance, but the ultimate goal is for each individual to follow the Christ consciousness within themselves, to take full responsibility for their life, and to have a personal one-to-one relationship with the divine themselves. Now, there's over 7 billion people on this planet, so that means there's at least 7 billion ways to the divine. How each person gets to the divine is different for each person. There is no one size fit all approach. This is why I say that each person needs to go inside themselves and heal the wounds, and also forgive themselves for anything they thought they did wrong, and forgive those who they felt have hurt them. It's about letting go. That's how you gain access to the Christ consciousness. It's not about doing anything other than using your free will to do what is right within your heart. Now, many of us get scared of doing what's right in our heart because of the outside rejection and stuff that we may get from other people. But as I said before, each soul is responsible for their personal ascension, and we can't blame our childhood or a dodgy parent or our partner. Essentially, ultimately it's down to each person, the destiny that they wish to take their life in. And so Christ consciousness is free will. It's taking, using your free will to take a stance and to do what's right in your own heart for you, despite what your mom, dad, father, brother, sister, community may say. If you feel that it's right within your heart, then you have to follow it. Now, I mean, the fact of if you get the calling to walk the path of the Christ consciousness, which is do no harm, and don't let anyone to do any harm against you, to know that the Most High is the creator of all creators, and we are we have this connection in us. We share the same qualities of the divine masculine and the divine feminine principle, but we are not that, meaning that we did not bring this world into being. You know, we are being directed, and that's not to say that, you know, there isn't levels and evolutions in consciousness or anything like that, but it's to say that there's a master architect and we are not that. And it's in that we need to become humble and realize how precious this gift is. You know, some species of life, some animals live 24 hours, you know. Some people do not get a full life. So if you're lucky enough to be alive today, that's a blessing. And I know that life can seem so hard sometimes and there's a lot going on, but if you've got life, you've got hope, and if you've got hope, you've got will, and if you apply your free will, then, you know, it's my personal experience that, you know, one step at a time, you can achieve anything you put your mind to. And that is not to say that man's inferior, we're not inferior. The whole point is that we need to subliminate our ego and realise that although we have had great teachers that have given us so much wisdom, there's been great teachers that have walked this earth and left endless and endless of realms and pages and audio tapes of wisdom. There have been some great teachers that have walked this earth, and that is not to say that man's inferior, but in my opinion, and I think in everyone's, we can see that the power behind everything, nature, Mama Earth, God, Allah, the Most High, whatever name we wish to give the powers that be, it's beautiful, and it's more beautiful than us because it keeps on providing. The grass keeps on growing, we keep on breathing in the air. Without oxygen, without nature, without the trees, we would not be here now. But yet we were at the time where we have wreaked mad havoc against nature for a while. So yeah, coming into Christ consciousness is just realising your place in the universe. You're responsible as a human being is to heal and navigate you, your family and your extended family and all those through, you know, life by being a shining example of the philosophies that you say that you prescribe to. So this is my video on the Christ consciousness. This is part 1. I'm going to go deeper. I just wanted to cover the basics here. Thank you ever so much for listening to me, and please subscribe to my channel. I really would appreciate that, and I will be posting loads of videos on numerous topics. So yeah.